Hello and welcome back to my channel where we embrace the mess, the stress, and all the rest with love and laughter and our very best. I'm so sorry if you're hearing echo right now. As you can see, this room is empty. And it's been a while. It's been a while since I had one of these talking videos where I'm having a conversation with you. I'm in my PJs. It's 7 o'clock in the morning right now. I post videos where I glamorize and I aesthetically display my videos when I travel and do the things and have these voiceovers. But most of the time, this is just what life looks like. It's messy. It's empty. It's the feeling of lost and confused and going through the waves of life and not knowing what's gonna come and totally just embracing and allowing where life leads you and where life puts you next. I wake up this morning with this realization that my ego is always complaining about how life's transitions, at least in my life and in my experiences, happen at such an accelerated rate. And oftentimes my body has a hard time catching up because things are happening so fast. And I feel like we're all in the season of fast changes, fast transitions, chapters closing, and new chapters unfolding and entering new eras in our lives. And it's scary, but we do need life to push us in that direction, right? So we don't stay stagnant, because I'm sure you can relate that feeling stagnant is not the greatest feeling. I think it's actually the worst. I hate when I know that I could be up leveling and going with the flow of life, but something in me is resisting. And so I made a vow to myself that I'm just going to allow life to unfold. And if I lead with my heart, then there's no way that I can ever go the wrong way. And with that said, I came back from a 3-week travel vacation with my husband in Japan, and we had the most amazing time. And we had this planned for about months prior, but it wasn't until recently that we realized that we were going to sell the house for multiple reasons. And at first it was a little scary because we knew that getting this house, that we were going to stay here forever, but I didn't think that 3 years was going to be the cutoff line. And of course, we have things planned, and the way that everything unfolded, we are always taken care of. And so I'm very blessed with how everything turned out. But this is the ending of a chapter. And in the midst of it, I was scared and I was crying and I was really sad that we made this house really a home. We've got our nesting spaces where we express our feelings and we practice yoga and we have fun and sit in the living room. Every space is so intentional. And so seeing it empty and seeing us go through the process of moving has been difficult, but also been so relieving, because I get this message from Spirit that you have to let go in order for something better to come along. And oftentimes when we think we're at our best, or we're with the right relationship, or we're at the right career, we get attached. It's just the human condition to get attached, and we don't want things to change because we feel safe in that. But it gets better every time. You leave that relationship that you thought was all that, and then you get into something better. Or vice versa, you get into something worse, but then you learn the lessons to get you in a place where you're not looking for validation or love outside of you, that you feel completely whole in yourself, that the right relationship finally comes. And so whichever path that you choose, you can delay the process, but respecting your timing always brings you to the right lessons and the right people and the right connections that help you become better than you were yesterday. And so it was about 3 days of grieving, and this happened back in late March, mid-April, and then we had the Japan trip. And so that kept me distracted. But coming home, knowing that this is the end of an era, it is sad, and we have to feel our feelings, but also at the same time, it is so exciting, because I know that whatever led me up to this moment is also what's going to lead me in my next moments. And that's why I love to tune into God, to Spirit, to my connection with the divine, because ultimately that is the only reliable source. And I know it's going to bring me somewhere better with my family and with the people that I love who are meant to be a part of the next season in my life, whatever that may look like. So I start to recognize that I never have to rush anything. Even though life feels rushed, I'm held in every moment and I'm supported if I just look and see that life is not falling apart, even though it can feel that way sometimes. It's actually falling into place. That approach of respecting your timing and not rushing anything or making emotional decisions just because you're experiencing a high or a low. It's really taking the time to be with myself and being patient and feeling and processing in the way that I know how, in the healthiest manner, and allowing spirit to come through, releasing all control and all fear so I can listen and tune into the voice of love inside of me and to the voice of God, which I always teach here that is synonymous to love. So this morning I prayed and I just said thank you to this home and to everything that it's given us and that it's provided for me in terms of healing and connection and stories and being with my friends and having memories with my family, the kitchen that I cooked in every single day. It's just such a beautiful, surreal moment that even though life feels like it's happening in an accelerated rate, that's also what makes it so beautiful, because we know that each moment passes and it'll never be that way again. And to really just savor and slow down and appreciate the journey of life, because we never really get to a destination. We think we made it and then another moment comes and it starts all over again. And so if you're going through fast transitions and you feel scared or you feel uncertain and you feel like you need to hold on to or grasp a little harder with any attachments that you may have in your life at the moment, soften the grip a little bit. Just like the voice of love continuously tells me, let go so something better can unfold. And whatever you're going through in life, you may not be moving like me. Whatever comes up in your mind that you know that message resonates with, that is your path. That is your lesson. And I just want to remind you that if you're on a path of working on yourself and you're always tuning into love and you let love be your teacher, there's no way that it's going to lead you somewhere that is destructive. I always say that love is always the right answer. And I say that with so much confidence because I've seen it in my life. I've experienced it. And of course, that's all thanks to my daily spiritual practice and my commitment and devotion to this path. But also just knowing that there's always an easier way. There's always a better way than the ego tries to come up with. Our mind loves to analyze and intellectualize and think about what it thinks might be better for us. But oftentimes it leads us to more confusion and more sadness and more spiritual bypassing. And that's not what we want, right? In navigating this human journey, we have to feel, we have to process, we have to embody that change that we want to see in our lives and in the world. And moving was just one thing. There were a lot of things that happened afterwards that kind of followed one after the other. And life is still moving at an accelerated pace, but I choose to remain in that middle ground, in that peace, knowing that life is moving through me in every moment. I am that channel of movement, and I could either go with the flow or resist the flow. I can make it easier for me or harder for me. And so I feel like sometimes we have this concern that, oh, why is life happening so fast? Like, I can't catch a break. I've had that thought many times before, and I'd witness it. And I'm like, it's because I'm in a state of surrender. I'm just allowing. And so the lessons are coming in faster. And since I'm allowing it and I'm feeling it and processing it in a healthy manner, it just keeps coming. But of course, God gives you a break. Life gives you an opportunity to settle in and enjoy what you've cultivated or what you've co-created with life. But at the same time, it's so beautiful that when you're just flowing, like you're flowing in a lazy river or something, there's no resistance. You don't have to paddle. You're just going with the flow. And that's the intention I want to continue to have in my life, that there's nothing that I need to always initiate because I want to feel something grand or I want to make something happen, I respect my timing. God, life, love knows the desires of my heart, and my mind cannot know better than what my heart can know. And I listen, and it takes a lot of stillness. It takes a lot of silence. And that is the intention that you want to make every day, that you're going to make that space for life to talk and for love to speak through that silence. And stillness is not always the easiest thing for many of us, but it's making that space and time to listen and to practice. And that is an everyday practice. That is an every moment practice. Life is always happening. There's so many opportunities for us to tune in. But oftentimes we feel like there's only one way, or we can only feel the voice of God or the voice of love in whatever image that your mind can come up with that references it back to peace or like vacation or something. Of course, it's easier to come into stillness and to be present when you're in a beautiful beach rather than in the midst of chaos in New York City. But it's like, how can we remain in that middle ground no matter what happens on the outside? And that's what I've been practicing. And I thought the priorities that I had previously, before I knew about the move or I knew about Japan, or even when I was in Japan, like making all these travel plans, I had all of these things in my mind that I thought I wanted to do. But then overnight, it just shifts. Something clicks when you truly listen. Let's say you have a travel book and you planned all of these places that you want to go to. You do whatever it takes to get there, and you make all of these things on your vision board come true. Most of the time you're successful, but sometimes things feel forced. And when I start to feel things being forced to happen, that's when I know I should let them go. Because maybe they're not for me. Maybe not right now, maybe for later. But in this space and in this present moment, it is not what my heart wants. And something else sweeps in, and this new soul desire comes up, and it happens effortlessly because I'm in a state of surrender and total allowance and embracing whatever life gives me in that moment. And then it brings me to my next experience that allows that fruition for that desire to happen in a way that I could not ever have thought. And that's it. It's like life is full of surprises and shock, and I just have to expect it. My mind doesn't know better than my heart, period. And I guess that's the message that I want to share with you today. If you're feeling lost, if you're feeling confused, if you're feeling overwhelmed and anxious that maybe life is moving so fast, it's okay. Life doesn't give you anything you can't handle. And if you feel like you can't handle it, start tuning into your heart more and stop listening to your mind. We have the choice to listen to the thoughts. We're always going to be thinking. Thoughts are always going to be coming up. Like, it's inevitable. We're human. It's how our psyche works. And sometimes it's helpful when we want to create solutions or we want to be practical with things. But when it comes to like more emotional decisions, all the more to be quiet, all the more to tune into love, less from the distractions of the world, and choose which thought you want to believe, or choose to be silent and just continuously witness the thoughts that come up until you come into that place of total quiet, and then you could hear those divine downloads and the voice of love. Coming back from Japan, of course I want to keep traveling the world, but right now the timing in my life is move, embrace the new chapter that is unfolding. Keep connecting with your heart, with the people that you love. People will fall away in my life. I can feel it. I can feel that it's going to be a very quiet season in my life, and I'm here for it. I just started my Saturn return, and right now, I mean, it's just the start. I don't know what's going to happen, but whatever it is, I choose to remain in the peace and the love that is here for me always. And I hope you feel empowered to do the same, because life is happening for you. It is not happening to you. We are so done with victim consciousness, and we could always choose a different path. I hope that you have an amazing day, that you feel empowered in your decisions, and that you make those decisions out of love and not out of fear, not out of pressure. And know that you have the same power in you. The same power that lives in me is the same power that lives in you. God has no favorites. Life is moving life. No one gets left behind. And if that's a thought that comes up that you feel like you're behind or life's not looking after you, I ask you to get more curious about that and really ask, is this really happening to me or is this for my greatest good? You have to be willing to go with the flow and to say yes. And oftentimes we need to process our emotions and we need outside help and other resources to do that. And so don't be afraid to ask for help. You don't have to do this alone. I created this channel because I wanted to express my experiences and my feelings, knowing that other people are going through the same thing. And we're all just this one tribe trying to navigate this human journey. And so thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a lovely, lovely rest of your week. Thank you for being exactly who you are in this moment. I see you. Namaste.